It's really helpful when somebody puts the whole specification of their vehicle on the bottom of the doors. Welcome to Lot 76 Cars. My name's Simon, and today I'm absolutely delighted to be at the first UK Mitsubishi Day at the British Motor Museum. Some absolutely fantastic Mitsubishis here to see, some very, very rare cars. So without further ado, on with the show. We're going to take an in-depth look at some of the cars here, and there's some absolutely cracking cars from the back catalogue to look at. So we're going to stop and have a look at a few of these along the way, like this beautiful Lancer. So we're going to start off with one of the rarest cars, SDG-1N. This is the original press car, the Mitsubishi Colt Lancer from 1974. Relatively high specification then. Back in the 70s, Mitsubishi had tried to enter the UK in the 60s, and that was aborted. Not that well known, but with the Colt Car Company, they actually brought in this vehicle, and this is a car that featured a lot of the brochures, the press articles of the day, and surprising, it actually survived so long. It was owned by Mitsubishi Motors, original importer. Love the period logo, move up to a Colt. And they disposed of it when they left the UK, or when they lost the franchise. Mitsubishi's been imported again into the UK now, and this car's got pride of place at the show. And it's fantastic to see these, isn't it? Look at those absolutely tiny wheels there. Repeater indicators. We've really got to put it in context of what else was available at the time. British Leyland or standard Ford fare. Doesn't that look absolutely fantastic? Great to see that in such super condition. Introduced in 1964 is a Mitsubishi Debonire. Debonair, obviously considered by the Japanese to be a phrase that encapsulated gentle, courteous, suave and light-hearted, or so it says here. This model actually continued in the range, not in this this incarnation, but right up to 1999. But you can see the whole American influence going on of what was considered cool, sophisticated in Japan in the 60s. Relatively early in their car making career, and some absolutely lovely touches there. Looks like many of these has been imported from Japan. We'll try and take a quick look inside. I'm not sure what that notch signifies there, something probably very interesting, and it's got that, and just against the window there, some absolutely lovely interior trim there, and oh, a gold model. Looks like a column gear change as well from what I can see, and look at the fins going on as well. What do you reckon to the fins on this? That's a bit good, isn't it? There you go, Mitsubishi Debonaire rather, and that's the first one I've ever seen, so we'll have to tick that off on my I Spy book of cars. Absolutely great. Another incredibly rare car is a Colt Celeste, and there's more than one of them here, and I'll try and show you that as well. A practical four-seater. Again, at this stage, Japanese companies still limited by the gentleman's agreement of how many cars they could bring in. So these cars were pretty rare back in the day. And in fact, to be honest with you, they are hen's teeth rare now. We're talking single digits, and I bet most of them are here today. Things like lock-in petrol caps weren't necessarily common back then. Specification was super high with compared to some of the opposition. And this is the 2-litre one. I think there were 1.4, 1.6 and 2, but put it in the comments if I'm wrong. So actually known as Pajero in some markets, but not in the UK, is the Shogun. Goodness, you don't see many of these now. This looks like an 89, lovely colour, isn't it? Such a rare car these days. This one is absolutely perfectly preserved, isn't it? I think some markets took this, I think it was called Pajero, supplied by the dealer, probably Ledley. I seem to recall they're up in Yorkshire somewhere, or were, could be wrong. Love the, certainly, I'm not sure if they are steel wheels, but certainly love the steel wheel as a spare. Goodness, they are. Again, the early cars are super rare, aren't they? Typical Japanese touch of putting that aerial on the outside of the A-pillar. Fabulous to see that one as well, isn't it? So we've not got one, but we've got two Sigmas here. So Sigma was the larger, what would you call it, Cortina sized vehicle. Again, the Sigma was limited because of the 10,000 annual sales numbers that Mitsubishi were constrained to under something called the Gentleman's Agreement, which was agreed to limit the total number of Japanese imports to protect the new car industry when we used to have one in the UK. And in actual fact, one of the gentlemen organising the event here, he's got this middle car, the black one. Absolutely quite an interestingly styled vehicle. Not sold as a Sigma, I think, in every market. In actual fact, I love the way these cars have been lovingly preserved. You can imagine what parts supply for these is like. It's not necessarily going to be the best, is it? But probably we've got the biggest turnout of these Sigmas in the UK, I suspect, as well. Well, I'm very happy to have seen both of those two. So when did you last see a couple of these? Mitsubishi Charismas, both with got slightly different front end stylings there. Can't remember. Looks like one of those is obviously the facelift, probably the one on the right of the camera. Built at the Nedcar plant in the Netherlands, based, it's a joint venture with Volvo, the Charisma. And there's certainly quite a lot of Charisma here today at the British Motor Museum. 3 of them all together. I'm going to try avoid using the word rare, but one last time, a Gallant Sapporo. So actually a vehicle that was sold under different names, Lambda or something in Japan, I think it was, sold in America as the Dodge Challenger and the Plymouth Sapporo. It was pretty much Mitsubishi's attempt to go head to head with the Germans. Incredibly well built. I think the styling, while it is obviously typical of its period, I think it has stood the test of time. And goodness, that will be a pretty rare car at a car show, wouldn't it? So this is the second generation Sigma, originally owned by a ship's captain, so it didn't get an awful lot of use, and it only got something like 50,000 miles on his daughter. It was passed to his daughter. Now the gentleman who owns the car now originally had one of these back in the day, and it rusted away and couldn't get parts before the days of eBay and things like this. This one, it's had a bit of paint, as you might expect for a car of this age, but it's absolutely incredibly well preserved, and this is what spare in use probably does. He's given me permission to have a look inside, so I'm going to have a look inside. What, back in I think 79, could you get? Look at that. You've got that pile carpet on the bottom of the doors, typical Japanese, putting the petrol cap down there. I'm loving the trimming there as well. Isn't that lovely? The Colt branded seat belts there. And look at the dash. Everything you need. Very simple, very easy to read. Not a screen in sight. We'll shut that very carefully because that car has survived extremely well. Owner's got all the brochures in there, which is something I absolutely love to see. Isn't that fabulous? So elsewhere in the video, we've got the original Lancer that was the press car, and we've got a Lancer estate. One of the gentlemen who's organised the event owns a small collection of Mitsubishis, the original dealer sticker, a very, very useful estate version of the Lancer. Again, what a gorgeous colour, isn't it? Chrome work. It looks like the owner's a stickler for all the correct period features. And of course he's got the owner's badge and a period AA badge when they used to have the membership number stamped on the front. What is not to like about that? Brilliant. So allegedly, the Mitsubishi Stallion, the coupe, the name was a mispronunciation of Stallion. I think that sounds like an urban myth. What do you think? This late 80s supercar with more than a hint of Porsche 944, but a bit more squared off, is a pretty rare beast these days. I'm pretty sure these were 2.6 litre cars, maybe some 2 litres in the mix as well. Goodness, I have rarely seen these. This is the latest sort of, what would you call it, wide body version. Love the spoiler at the back. Intercooler turbo, just in case you need a confirmation that it meant business. It's got those fabulous alloys on it. They look great, don't they? What do you think to that? I really, really like that one, I must admit. I think Lloyd Vehicle Consulting has driven one of these, or maybe this very car. So there'll be a review on it somewhere on YouTube. But for now, we'll just have to settle for the walk round. So back in, what, 86, when this car would have been new, probably this was a pretty left field choice. And it's actually called the Mitsubishi Colt. Ironic that the company that imported them in the UK was the Colt Car Company. But this was the Colt, their small vehicle, up against probably what would it have been then, Escorts, Astras, what, maybe a Maestro. It's got the period pop-up sunroof, what's not to like with that? And they used to do them in the supermarket car parks. It's got the original dealer sticker, Chelmsford garages in Solihull, not sure if they're anymore, possibly not. And it's in pretty good order, isn't it? What do you think to that one? So magazine featured and all the way from Germany. Now somebody will tell me which German city that is. I don't recognise that off the top of my head. But it's actually badged as a Galant rather than as a Sigma. I love those aero sides, left-hand drive car as well, so not an import, maybe an original German market car. And the key bit to this one is at the back. It's a 2.3 litre turbo diesel, because obviously demand in Germany and certainly in Europe was diesel driven at that stage. There we go. German speakers, eat your heart out. Flink und leise wie ein Wiesel. Well, whatever that says, I'm sure it's incredibly informative. And thanks to these guys for making it all the way from Germany with their Galant. So we've got a great couple of Mitsubishi Galants, later Galants here. Fabulous rally pedigree. Do you remember these being driven by, was it Pentia Rickler back in the day? And we've got 2 litre double overhead cam, 16 valve, intercooler turbo, 4-wheel steer. Whoa. And doesn't that look an absolute treat inside? Somebody has really prepared that or kept that in fabulous order. Now this particular car is a 1992 Rally Sport lightweight with 250 horsepower, and you could certainly have a lot of fun in that one, couldn't you? Now next to it we've got a rather different one. This is a US market car. It's a 1991 limited edition. It's number 504 of I think it's a 2000 or 2000 in actual fact. And again, you know, pretty rare to see these days. I mean, it's massively prepared. It's got 4-wheel ABS, which was a big deal. The engine bay is better prepared than my whole car. Somebody's obviously done a great deal of work on that one. Shall we have a look inside that one? It's got BC coiling race overs as well. You could have an awful lot of fun with that one. And look at the seatbelt location here, where the seatbelt clicks into. So how it slides up. I think this was a US market thing. There's probably seat better over there. How it's attached really unusual. I love the trim. Bride, that doesn't mean an awful lot to me, but it may do to some of the viewers. But that is an absolute treat, isn't it? The guy's gone to an awful lot of trouble with this one. Great how he's integrated the Alpine sound system in the back. Wow. Galant heaven. I think we've found it, haven't we? So regular viewers of the channel will, in actual fact, have seen this car before. Maybe 3 years ago I filmed it, and there's a video out. Now the owner is fastidious about collecting bits and pieces, all the associated. He's got the original car care kit here. Of course he's got the brochures, the price list, the original dealer key ring, all the tax lists, the purchase invoice. This car has been at Festival with an exception. That's the first time I saw this one. I think it's a 91 from memory. Invoice will tell me. Great to drive, really light, quite a peppy car to drive. Not a particularly cheap car back in the day, but well specified, and this one is in absolutely outstanding order. This was so called the coupe, even though it is a normal 5-door car. In actual fact, it was actually badged and sold as the coupe. So check out the video on that one if you get the chance in the back catalogue. Now these are pretty rare cars, even by Mitsubishi standards in the UK. It's the GTO. I think it ran over 3 generations for about 10 years, and they threw the technological book at this one. It's got the specification on the passenger door. Why only on the passenger door, I'm not quite clear, but to save us a bit of time, I'm just going to read it. So it's V6, 2972cc, max power, 280 PS, 24 valve, twin turbo intercooler. Goodness gracious, they've got the lot there, haven't they, really? You don't need to dig out the catalogue, you just go and sit outside and read it on the car. Again, I think these officially came to the UK. It's a right-hand drive car, but hen's teeth rare. And I say hen's teeth rare, of course, I step beside me and there's another one, and that's the essence of today. Another lovely entry from the Mitsubishi's back catalogue is this 88 Estate. And this Lancer Estate has had an awful lot thrown at it. It's had a pretty full restoration. We've got the chance to have a look inside. Love the seat adjustments there. Love those controls there. Very typical of its period. Wears its years very well, and I think it's been given a pretty good lease of life by the owner, and it looks like it's got plenty more years ahead of it. That stepped roof, that unusual stepped roof that the Estates had, pretty useful actually for taller loads. We'll try and get a look inside the back and see what impact that has here. And there's a noticeable step up in the roof line there. So if you're down to IKEA far too often, like many of us, this might be just the car for you, but you've got to find one first of all, haven't you? So this is owned by Rich Barnett. Those of you will be aware that he's the markets editor of Classic Car Weekly, and he loves his Mitsubishis. So why are you showing us a Jeep, Simon? Well, in actual fact, it's a Jeep that was built under license by Mitsubishi. So Willys actually allowed Mitsubishi to build these under license. This, surprisingly, is quite a late one. It's got the 2.6.5 litre diesel, and I think it's been turned into a replica of some of the vehicles from MASH, and I think it's from the early 80s from what I can recall. Really, at first sight, it looks indistinguishable from other Jeeps, except in actual fact it is a Mitsubishi. So we'll just have a look inside. It's what you would call pretty basic by any standard. Just point the hose pipe in there and wash it out, and just hope to God that it doesn't rain on the way home tonight, or that could be a little bit problematical. What do you think? Even got a spare supplies of fuel on the back. Excellent. Now it's going some to say you've found the rarest of the rare. Does anybody know, before we go any further, what this is? Because I've only ever seen one of these. Yeah, it's a Cordia. So I think this was the replacement for the Sapporo at the side of it. These had a not inconsiderable 134 brake horsepower turbocharging back in the earlier days, not the very earliest of turbocharging. And I would imagine there's a handful of these. We must be in single digits. If I find out how many are on there, then I'll stick it on the screen if I remember. Beautifully preserved inside. Some of them had a second gear, even second set of ratios, I seem to recall. Did I misremember that one? Put that in the comments. I bet it's got a turbo boost gauge somewhere in there, has it? I love the clock on the passenger side. I don't know whether that's meant for the passengers to keep an eye on the time or the drivers to lean over. It doesn't look particularly safe, does it? You've got to say that owners do take this whole car collecting thing seriously. We've got the screen wash, we've got the service manuals, we've got the price list, we've got the technical spec and all the features. That is absolutely amazing, isn't it? I like these because of the rarity, but actually they're quite a reasonably nippy drive as well. Another unicorn of unicorns, and this time it's a Galant. Yes, another Galant, different generation, sort of early 80s. Got the original number plates on there, Duffield and Son, somewhere in York. Turbo diesels, pretty rare beast. Japanese were not known for turbo diesels. I guess produced them really mainly for European sales, where demand for diesel was good and the price of diesel was low compared to petrol. Very low CD figure, surprisingly for the shape, it's 0.36. Now, if you remember back to the Audis of the period, Audi had just announced that the Audi 100 was 0.3, so 0.36 was probably not a bad effort. Now, you could have apparently a diamond pack. I don't know if this car has the diamond pack, but we're going to tell you what's in that fabulous diamond pack because it says it here. The diamond option pack gave you, wait for it, central locking, electric front and rear windows, remote electronic door mirrors, electric sunroof, bronze tinted glass and alloy wheels. Well, we haven't got that here, so that box wasn't ticked. It looks beautifully original. And again, turbo diesels, how did the turbo diesels survive? There weren't that many to start with. I think this is the petrol version. Again, what that was, this was looks to be later, 87, 88 if it's on an E-plater. GL specification, where the other one is GLX. Wheels look comically small, don't they, compared to those today? What size are those? They're 13-inch wheels. I've got a bike with bigger wheels than that. This one has got, looks like a factory sunroof in there. Again, where have we dug these out from? You just simply don't have the chance to see them, do you? Well, today, let's just drink that in, shall we? Moving up this time, we've got another Colt. They're a smaller car, and this is the GLX. These cars, many of these cars have come from all over the UK, and there's obviously a huge amount of love for the Mitsubishi brand. And we're going to try and fill in a few gaps in the Mitsubishi Colt Car Company story with a few of the other models as we walk around. So plenty more to come, so bear with me. So period advertisements offered customers to own the fastest Colt in the world. Well, they weren't kidding, were they? So 127 mile an hour top speed and a not inconsiderable 168 horsepower, which going back in the day, that was quite a lot of power. Turbocharged, ventilated disc brakes, they threw absolutely everything. I'm not sure what the power delivery is like on this one, whether it's typical of turbos of the period. I do also recall that some of the cars had Turbo 2000 in mirror image on the front spoiler, unless I misremembered that, so you could see what was behind you. So it is open, the owner's given me permission. Very simple dials. It wouldn't look from the inside necessarily how powerful this is. I can't see a boost gauge even there. Love that period stereo, Lancer written on the dash there. Velour trim. Oh, it has got the boost gauge. I like, and it's also got a rocker switch for extra boost. Oh goodness, do you need any extra boost? How much boost do you need? but still windy windows to keep us grounded. Absolutely fabulous, isn't it? What a great opportunity to see one of these. I think outside the period, I don't think I've ever seen one recently. What a treat as well. So called the Generation 5 Colt, and this was the Mirage. Now, I didn't think they had rights to use the name later on, but the UK did have rights to use the Mirage name. So it's badged Mitsubishi Colt and Mirage. Again, pretty rare. It's got a super data card with showing how many left, and there's not many left. Look, according to this, and if that camera will get it into shot now to focus, it says there are 7 licensed. Is that right? Look at the top figure. And you could have one of these in a great finance offer for 7,995. Well, somebody has cherished and loved this car, and pretty much it has survived the 30 odd years almost unscathed, hasn't it? 1.6 Generation 5. Absolutely lovely. An incredibly useful version of the Galant, the estate version from what, 2001, wire registered. Again, trying to avoid using the word rare, but I'm going to do it again there because they are pretty thin on the ground. A few of these have been imported into the UK from Japan. They do sell estates in Japan, but in smaller numbers. But apologies for the post in the way. Lots of usable space in that car. Now, I actually ran one of these about, I don't know, 10 years ago, and this one had got the tweaked turbo. It is the Colt Rally Art, and these, believe you me, getting that power through the front wheels was quite difficult, even in standard form. The last car that was built at the Nedcar plant before ownership transferred for VDL, but Mitsubishi produced cars in Europe, and this was the last car to be sold under the Colt badge in Europe at the time. I think that badge has come back now. They're pretty rare. It's also rare to find the Pininfarina convertible version, and unfortunately I can't see one of those here today, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, they're pretty quick, the turbo versions, and again, you'll still find them for sale used, but not so many of them. Manufactured as part of a joint venture between Chrysler and Mitsubishi was this Talon, manufactured in Illinois for the US market. Obviously been brought in privately. Quite a striking looking design in there. There is only one here because there's probably not that many in the country. Interesting design. Obviously got that seat belt anchorage into the A-pillar, which is something I've seen on a couple of cars here today, mainly the US ones. Coupe design, integrated sunroof. There you go. Must be, well, it's certainly no doubt it is the Eagle Talon, is there really, with that badging. Interesting profile. It's got a bit of an echo of what, 300 SX Nissan? Or is that just me? Again, quite an interesting looking vehicle, and I must admit the first one I've seen. So coming towards the latter end of the Shogun's life, it did soldier on for quite a while, but is this later one, this 98 on an R, this particular car is for sale. Another short wheelbase one to some extent. I quite like the short wheelbase one. Intercooler turbo 2.8. I'm presuming that is a petrol, but I'm not sure in actual fact. I presume it is. It looks in pretty good order. I do like the spoiler on the roof. I'm not sure how much downforce you need in a car like that, but it looks to have been incredibly useful and also a huge survivor. Now the Space Star, it's not an idle boast. It's got a lot of space inside. Again, a common sight on UK roads not that long ago. Do you remember when MPVs ruled the roost? Well, this was Mitsubishi's own contribution to this. A Y plater, what would that put it? 2000, 2001, something like that. Again, pretty rare these days to see those, isn't it? Another car destined not to be for the UK is the Mitsubishi Eclipse, sold I think in Japan, looking at the brochure, produced in Illinois again, produced in North America. This D31 generation car, can't be sure about that one. Mitsubishi experts, please feel free to correct me in the comments. But again, it is the only one here, and we're glad to see it. A very sleek, unusual looking design, and that is quite a spoiler on the back of that one, isn't it, going on there? Again, not hiding its intercooler turbo light under any bushels of the integrated aerial there. It runs on unleaded. Well, that's good news, isn't it? A laser line alarm. Here we've got another UK market Stallion. These are still great looking cars in my opinion. Those Archers really mean business. There's a few of these here today, and there can't be that many left in the UK, can there? Now, even though we've seen quite a few Sapporos here today, I love to hear the story and the backstory. And this particular one's a 79 one. It was registered to the owner's late granddad and then stored in a barn in Buckinghamshire. Purchased in 1979 originally. It had apparently these aftermarket or officially approved alley cat wheels on it. They look pretty cool, don't they? Small diameter 14-inch wheels, but they're looking pretty good. According to DVLA records, it says only 500 of these actually came to the UK, and there are just 9 left, and this is one of them. So shout out to the owner for bringing this fabulous car out. I love the period vinyl roof. Who doesn't love a vinyl roof? Doesn't even stretch right to the back. Sort of complements the styling here, that fastback styling. What a lovely car. So there's the social media address at Sapporo Cat. Have a quick look inside there just because we can. Another lovely example. Well, out of all the 9 on the road, pretty much I think they must be all here today. Goodness, there's such a great turnout of cars. So it looks like originally manufactured in 95 is this Debonire, another Debonire, but a Debonire Cordia. Again, a nameplate that went on, I think I mentioned elsewhere in the video, to the late 90s. Sophisticated saloon. I'm not sure it has echoes, to me, echoes of Lexus, early Lexus or Infiniti about it. Well, that interior looks absolutely fabulous, doesn't it? Armrests in there for driver and for passenger. What is not to like? I'm not sure what the bone is all about, but what a fabulous looking car. 3.5 litres, V6 double overhead cam, 24 valves, so it probably goes a bit, doesn't it? There you have it. One Debonire and another. So another Eclipse this time, a very late one, US built again, but looks like it might be a Dutch registered car. It's got a German Euro 4 sticker, I think. Convertible. Oh, lovely colour, isn't it? Plenty of room in that one, isn't there? Maybe not if you put the seats all the way back. And it's V6, GT V6. What a striking looking car that is as well. Try not to trip over here as I get that one into shot. Absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, and I am going to announce the winner now, and it's the registration number is UMM547S. It happens to be a Colt Sapporo Mark 1, and it happens to be owned by Mr. Paul Graham.
So I guess the Sapporo's claim to fame is that Lionel Blair in period owned one. Kids, ask your mum and dad or your grandparents who Lionel Blair is. But this particular car was owned by the owner originally in the early 90s. On the way back from buying it, his wife managed to burn the carpet with a cigarette, but she's never been forgiven for that even now. He managed to buy it back, sold it, and then managed to buy it back. It sort of hadn't succumbed to rust, contacted the DVLA, but couldn't help him. And in actual fact, cruising through eBay, of course we've all done that, haven't we? He actually bought it back, and 13 years later brought it back to life. I love that pillarless coupe look. So it was only the owner's second car, and somehow he managed to buy it, buy it back and bring it to this order, and it is in absolutely splendid order. Not bad for a car from what, like 1978, 78 on an S? Goodness, that looks good, doesn't it? So thanks again for joining me on Lot 76 Cars at the fabulous Mitsubishi Cars event at the British Motor Museum. The first time they've had this event. They're going to be back next year, and this will certainly be a standing event on my calendar. I'll drop in some information about the club just so you can have the chance to either join them or join their Facebook group. It's an absolutely great event, some fabulous cars I haven't seen for a long time. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to joining me on the next one.